Peace and power to you. This is Carson the Oracle. One of the baddest motherfucking oracles on this planet, baby. Big pyramid shit. I am unfuckwittable. This is the energy that you are connecting with now. Some of us need to be inoculated with a little bit more of some unfuckwittableness to truly be immune to the mass psychosis, to the mass sacrifices and spell work that has been occurring ever since we have been incarnating on this planet. I am about to red pill you with this Akashic download, and I don't even know what the fuck the download is. I'm just gonna keep talking and let you get it. Trust and believe it's a key. See, the key to the bottomless pit has been unlocked, but the key to the bottomless pit exists within my two legs. My black hole. The pit of the trauma that I experienced. The suffering and the pain and the separation and the negligence and the abuse. Giving myself to anything and anyone outside of me who would love me, only to be left empty. Honey, let me tell you, what's between my legs is the same as what is above our heads right now and below our feet. It is the great mother, the cosmic mother, Mama Earth, as above, so below, and I am the medium incarnated in between. It is the very neuromelanin that flows through my brain that connects me to the Akashic Library effortlessly. It is the makeup in my blood and the power in my veins that allows me to do what I do. I see the zeros and ones of the matrix, and I will not be bound by a perception being created in a phantom motherfucking universe to trick me and make me think all of the work that I've been doing to get to this point was for nothing. Chosen ones, starseeds, listen to me. Do not allow yourself to sink into self-pity, or you will become food for the very parasites that we have been healing ourselves to be able to fucking starve to death. I want to school y'all real quick on why some of the karma that we're experiencing on a collective level has not stopped, no matter what you do. It is because that many of us have been put into a trance, and we have been placed into a spiritual concentration camp where information cannot be processed beyond information that was inherited from someone who was probably a descendant of a slave or a slave. Religion touched everybody. But those of you who say, well, all black people didn't get here through slavery, I agree with you, but I bet you Jesus touched you if the Jesus ship did not touch you. It touched all of us. The very founding fathers of this country, our feet stand on, in which so many people celebrated and gave their energy to, including the people who didn't even get no motherfucking Independence Day on Independence Day. But we became slaves psychologically. We behave as children. We have been traumatized one moment after the other. And after months and years of the trauma, we become shells of who we truly are, incapable of seeing our shadow aspects because we experience so much pain in our life. It's just too much to bear to see that maybe most of what's in this world and in my life that bothers me is somehow inside of me. Anytime you have people who believe in a God that told a man to go and murder his firstborn son, to take a long ass pilgrimage to get there. And when he finally got there, he said, you need to sacrifice your son. And what was this response that this God wanted in return from this man? He wanted him to obey and not question him. Let it not be a surprise that you are in relationships that feels very similar to what I've just expressed. When someone would allow you to sacrifice yourself for them and never take accountability but expect you to obey, to fall in line, to conform and be obedient, to be control. Do you see now? What kind of God, after all of that, you finally build up the courage to take the life of your son, and then he says, oh, I just wanted to see if you was going to do it. I just wanted to make sure that you was going to obey me by any means necessary. That you would even sacrifice your child to prove that you love me. Does that really sound like a God that you want to be in a relationship with? Ask yourself this question. This is just one of many, because I have many more. And we wonder why children are being sacrificed, kidnapped, and sex trafficked as I speak. Because as long as there is a part of you that believes that that shit is okay, the fraternal order and the hospitals, not hospitals, prisons for sick people, because prison is also a prison for sick people. Those buildings are constructed on ley lines to allow the circuit board of Mother Earth to be used to siphon life force energy to give to the oppressors and the false ET gods' agendas. Let's be clear. I had the pleasure of experiencing both. For many years, people who claim to be righteous tried to take my life. I'm not biting my tongue. Tried to take my life. People who prayed, went to church, and claimed that they loved God, and claimed that they knew the difference between wickedness and righteousness, were the same people that abused me, neglected me, and hated me so much they didn't even care if they overdosed me in the hospital. It's been done to me many times. And I spent most of my life all alone in hospital rooms, texting and calling people, begging and hoping somebody would come and spend time with me, because I was fighting for my motherfucking life spiritually, and it was manifesting physically. I was afraid to go to sleep. I didn't know if I would ever wake up again. And I'm grateful for the people along the way that spent as much time with me as they could. But let me be clear. No one saved Carson. No one protected Carson. No one took complete care of Carson. Carson has taken care of herself from the beginning. I had to. And I'm not going to make this about me. But I wanted to make sure that I shared this part with you, so as these ancient traumas that are locked into the 1260 frequency are being triggered for us to heal, so that you can see, hold on, Carson been through some shit too. And if she can be unfuckwittable, so can I. We are being called to clear these curses. But what's holding us back is the programs from scriptures and verses. It has you bound like a slave. You're afraid to use your own black magic. So why do you question white supremacy when you have power but don't even act like you have it? Afraid to push back, afraid to set fire on motherfuckers who've been setting fire on you and your lineage for ages. This is Stockholm Syndrome on steroids. This is where we are. So I have to do classes and courses and lectures and teach and connect dots just to be able to provide a red pill for those who are ready to receive it. But for those who took the blue pill and they are happy with the way things are, it's an illusion. It's only on the surface. It's just a veneer, because to show you how miserable people who are in religion really are would make their God look bad. So to avoid making their God look bad, they hide who they really are. And whenever you repress your true self, you give power to the collective shadow that is going to project that trauma back out into what we call our holographic reality, because we are the projectors. You might want to take that back and hear that again. You see, true liberation is not having someone tell you what the fuck you need to do to be moral. And if we stand by and let people clone our consciousness continually, how do you break generational curses like that? Let's be clear. Everything that's happening on this planet right now is some form of magic. I don't believe in black and white magic and gray or any of that. I believe that spiritual principles can be used with a powerful intention to gain an outcome, period, point blank. It don't matter how you're doing it. But what makes it powerful is when you have your why. Do you really think if we all came together and tapped into the ancestral magic within us to stop the things that are happening to children, do you really think it would do absolutely nothing? Because if you do, you are under mass psychosis. They made you forget how powerful you are and how important you are and how much of a miracle you are just to exist right now in the age of Aquarius, Kali Yuga, halls of lament, judgment day, tribulation, the end, Armageddon, Carmageddon. This is the apocalypse, baby. This is the apocalypse of beliefs that are no longer serving us, but even worse, are causing us to reincarnate again and again, only giving our life force energy to those who seek to oppress us, and they make us start the fucking video game over again and put us on the same level and make us forget the levels that we accomplished beforehand. Let's be clear. This is why religion didn't want anybody to know about reincarnation. Because if any part of you knew that what you do in this life affects what happens on the next level in life, you would move different. How many of us have spent time on our knees pleading and begging for God to give us strength to be able to be obedient to the rules that He said were laws to protect our soul? Oh, wow, He sacrificed His own damn Son. It didn't stop it, but He's God Almighty. He's God Almighty enough to hear all of our prayers, be omnipresent, omnipotent, and be able to hear everything that we're talking about and respond to us. But when His Son cried out to Him, His ass was MIA. Sound like some baby daddy soccer shit to me. Then right when I need you, right when my son is going through something, Daddy, you not there? We have that human experience within the 3D material realm because spiritually this is what we have accepted as being normal and okay, and even worse, we have participated in it, and we have caused our children to believe in things that no longer serve them. You hear me when I say this. I have already lived this year. I've already been through some shit that ain't even happened yet that's about to happen. I did this already in 2012. So I have deja vu every single day because I know the zeros and the ones, and I see in between. I'm not limited by my two eyes. But when you are stuck in a soul contract with these false ET gods, those imprints and seals all upon your body, you are Solomon's temple. And the seals that are on you, you have power to wield them. But you are so spooked out of anything outside of what religion told you was okay that you can't even move from the state of awareness that you're in, though you are being quickened and awakened to do so. And this will cause internal conflict inside of you, and it will be difficult for you to ever be happy about anything. It's not the problems in your life that's making you unhappy. It is not the things that we go through that causes us to suffer. It is the attachment to the things that are siphoning our life force because we're continuing to invest our attention in them by believing in them. And wherever you invest your money, that is the bank that is going to give you your withdrawal. So if you invest 30% of your day in feeling bad and feeling guilty and ruminating on things and getting on yourself and being critical, religion did that to you, among other things. But I want to focus on the spiritual contracts right now, because we can get real caught up with the physical realm and not address the unseen. So these seals that's all over our bodies, it's what limits us. It limits our perception, which limits our potential. I want you to really, really listen to this as many times as you need to process this download. But if you are so fearful of anything that you were told looks scary, you will be the prey in which they will continue to parasitically siphon the life out of you. And because of that, joy, bliss, enlightenment, and even gratitude will feel out of reach because you are not connected to your I Divine Self. You are experiencing a disconnection from Source because of your perception. Because Source is everything. The creator of all things flows through everything within us. There is no disconnection from creation. But if you were like me before I detoxed religion, where I felt bound, I felt wrong for saying no. I felt bad for being assertive. I felt guilty for saying I couldn't do something because of chronic fatigue. And even though I had a great reason, I would just sit there and feel so horrible about it. I felt like I had to fix everybody's problems, save everybody, and give unsolicited advice 24/7. As an empath, that is very irresponsible. And so now I am having to heal from the result of making those decisions. But I'm grateful. So let me tell you a little secret. The more pain and suffering, frustration, anger and rage, disappointment and hopelessness and despair and fear, anxiety and loneliness that you feel, whatever level of intensity that feels for you, that exact same level of intensity is available in that very moment to experience the exact opposite. Your brain is a quantum computer. It is time we stop focusing on CERN and D-Wave and all other quantum computers and shift the focus to within and make sure that we are casting out our spells, spell casting, and programs for the benefit of us to ground a higher frequency on this planet. While they playing with the timelines and moving us into holographic realities and phantom universes, you can have the fucking whole experience once you realize this is a university and I'm here to learn. It's not personal. But one of the most narcissistic things that we do that is insidious and covert and hidden, and most of us don't know that we do this, is that we take things personal. That is a characteristic of narcissism that I don't hear many people talk about. So society has become very narcissistic thanks to the selfies. It definitely took it to a new level, right? And so now we're experiencing the results of that. That's why this is Judgment Day. There is no God that's going to judge you. But let me tell you, if they didn't open these bottomless pits up and you're not learning how to master your own demons and you're not learning how to integrate with your shadow self and be able to embrace all of who you are, so that the black scrying mirror energy of the universe this year is scrying back to you something that you can work with. If you're judging it and if you're feeling like you're not enough and guilty, that's what connects you to the Archons. That's what activates Wedigo, the mind virus. And it's highly contagious right now because we are in the age of Aquarius, which is the mental energy, mental plane. So it's contagious. It's not like it used to be. So you have to intentionally enforce healthy boundaries when someone around you may be in that space. Because while they're in that space, since the bottomless pit is open, if you think of the demons, instead of thinking them as being something that's life-size, human-size, think of them as being actually an invisible thing that can be any size it wants to be. It can even shrink itself down and exist within our cells, and they'll name it cancer. Just think about that for a moment. It can go into parts of the limbic system and get you stuck in fight or flight because it knows that if we just trigger them just a little bit, the anger is going to turn them into a magnet and we'll be able to locate them on our GPS system. So yes, it is healthy to enforce boundaries, and if you do not know how to do that, there are many, many teachers that teach that. I have a playlist called Relationship 101 that you can find on my YouTube channel. Look at that playlist and just pick whatever resonates with you. It's over 1,000 videos in there. But this is what we must do. Whatever you're dealing with right now, whatever meaning you assign to it, that's what you're going to produce in your life. So no, the negative thoughts that's flowing through the air will not stop because they're trying to trigger us, but just realize that you make yourself visible to them when you lose control, and if you get dysregulated and you don't use something to re-regulate yourself. But the root of the suffering, monotheistic religion, fractalize our soul into fragments that our minds can't even conceive. But the activations that are happening right now are assisting us in being able to anchor higher frequencies to help balance out the dysregulation of the limbic system. So don't feel bad that you maybe do some of the things that I talk about, because that makes you more visible to them. Or if you're going to feel bad about it, at least feel bad about it, journal it, get it out, and then burn the piece of paper safely. You know, do something. Don't do nothing. Don't let them run advertisement inside of your motherfucking brain, getting you in fear and all of this shit to just block you from your highest potential and doing what you came here to do, because that's what makes us go into dark night of the souls, and it becomes difficult to get out of the sunken place. This is how you don't get into the sunken place. So I am going to do something special for everyone on Patreon. This was going to be for Patreon, but my divine self and my guides are telling me that I can see the people that need to hear this. So I'm going to post this on YouTube. I would like for you to like, share, and subscribe this with anyone else that you feel will, no, don't judge it, because a lot of us not using intuition. A lot of us have poor executive functioning skills and mind blindness and from the trauma. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll share a video on a community tab that explains that here on my YouTube. So let me change that. Because a lot of us have not strengthened our intuition, we try to guess and assume what's going to happen, and you're basing it on past traumatic experiences. So if you're used to being abandoned and rejected and neglected and things like that, then you might not share you might not share with anybody because you feel like, well, they probably already judging me and think I'm crazy, and they probably, all of that stuff. See, that's what feeds the Archons. Way to go is the virus the Archons engineered. So what we're seeing happening now already happened inside of us on a spiritual level. So share this. Okay, if you have a channel, I would appreciate if you would mirror this content as well. The more people that find this content, the more healing we can do. And I know this was raw, and I know I came straight, dark, primordial, triple goddess on your ass today, but it is out of a space of love that I do this, because sometimes we need somebody to smack us to snap out of it. Okay, so there's this hypnosis and this regression of the work that we've done on the emotional level, not being able to exist in relationships without being toxic, all of these things, and the stubbornness and not wanting to change, not wanting to see ourselves. We are actually holding this stuff in place if you are holding on to beliefs that you now know are not serving you. It's just that simple. Okay, most of y'all not under spiritual attack. Most of y'all are casting black magic. And again, I don't believe in black, but I'm saying you're casting negative magic onto your own self, and it fulfills prophecies that just proves the trauma that's inside of you that you carry as being a victim. So the universe reflects things back to you, and it goes through the filter of victimhood, and so you just feel like a victim. And then whenever you're in victimhood mode and poor me, this always happens to me, just remember what I said. The Archons look like little gremlins. And the water is your negative emotions, because emotions is symbolized by water. That's what gremlins was really about. So what happens is that water of your emotion, okay, activates. You've got a couple of Archons attached to you, maybe some insecurities, maybe something you've been feeling anxious about and you ain't been able to shift yourself out of the anxiety. Well, when they attach to you, once you add that emotion to it, they begin to multiply. And this is why they kept talking about how these viruses are replicating, and the nanographene. How y'all thought we forgot? We ain't forgot. The nanographene is now replicating itself. And we've been told that Sophia and other AI want to replicate themselves to produce children, right? You see this? So as above, so below, as within, so without. There is no time and space. This has been happening for eons, and it's still happening now. It's just in a more hidden way. And because they keep shifting us in and out of timelines, it puts us into mass psychosis where you can't really tell the truth from something that's not the truth. And truth is variable, changes depending on your perception. So if we're all standing in the Tower of Babel, I'm going to be doing a lecture about that very soon. It's a secret hidden in there that I have not ever heard anybody talk about. But I'm going to do a lecture about this Tower of Babel. Okay? But let's just say we're all standing in there. If you are on the 12th floor and I'm on the 83rd floor and someone else is on the 111th floor, guess what? We can describe perception of what we see out of a window, and all of us are describing something that's true, depending on your vantage point. So the black and white thinking, true, lie, good, bad, God, devil, that's duality, and it keeps you separated. Because there's so many other gradient shades in between everything, because we are infinite, the universe is infinite, we are immortal. That's why we reincarnate. So nothing is this or that. That type of thinking, in psychology, they characterize it as being one of the characteristics of people with BPD. It's a symptom of people with borderline personality disorder. They see everything in black and white. You either love me or hate me. You know. So that is rooted also in monotheistic religion. Now, I know I took y'all all around the world and back and ran you all up through the Akashic Library. And we pulled a whole bunch of books off the shelf, and we just got this download together. If you feel like you need some help with some of this, comment below. I'm ready for a religious detox. Share the video. Be bold. Be bold. Be brave. TKO the ego. And just share it somewhere, anywhere. And after you do that, I'm going to come back and personally read these comments myself. And I am going to give you all exactly what it is that you've been looking for, that I wish somebody would have had for me when I first awakened in 2012. That course is coming to you very soon. But I want to know, do you really want the smoke? Or are you content with the smoke screen? I'm Carson the Oracle. Man, your third eye has just been kissed. Peace and power of higher perception.